All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we are going to be checking out Green Blue, Zoro, and Sanji again, ST12 Zonji. I have not checked this deck out in about 3 weeks, and it's one of my favorite decks to play. I'm not saying it's the most competitive or anything. Please do not misunderstand what I said there. I'm not saying this is like some S-tier deck. Who knows? Hopefully, maybe it will be one day. I really hope so. But the playstyle of this deck, I love how it is just an onslaught, a barrage of attacks, of just like 7k attacks, like 7,000 power attacks just across the board, just beating into your opponent's face. Really big fan of this leader. But yeah, today's video, guys, just to give you a quick rundown. This is not going to be like my usual like deep dive videos. I do already have a deep dive comprehensive guide on Zoro and Sanji. If you want to check that out, I will link that down in the comment section below. That video is like an hour and a half long, guys. Today's video is going to be much more chill, much more lighthearted. We're just going to be checking out 3 games on the sim. I'm going to show you the new deck list that I'm running for ST12 Zonji. It's not from the East. Since I've done my Zoro and Sanji deep dive comprehensive build, there have been no more deck lists posted on Zonji from the East or West that I'm aware of. So we're not going to check out anything going on there. It's all the same. It'll all be in the other video. But in this video, guys, we're just going to be checking out 3 games on the sim of Zonji, and then we'll check out the deck list at the end and kind of wrap up, give my final thoughts from there. So you know what you're getting into, super chill. Probably going to be a shorter video today compared to what I've been doing lately. And yeah, just a little bit of a fun video. Okay, so volume is off. We're on 2x speed, and we are good to go. Yeah, this deck right here, guys, blue, green, Zoro, and Sanji, or green, blue, whatever, and red, yellow, Sabo. Man, I am just absolutely loving the feel of how those play out. All right, so in the game real quick. I'm playing as ST14 Luffy. He does not respect my first attack. That's a little bit crazy to me personally, guys. Now, I'm playing, notice on the board, we'll check out the deck list at the end of the video, but notice what I'm playing. That is a 3-cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter, vanilla Edward Weevil. I think that's from a while back. I think that's from like OP-01 or 2. It's like from, or maybe one of the early starter decks. I can't remember exactly, but this is an old card. It's just a 3-cost 5k vanilla that is named Edward Weevil, so I can combo it with Buckin at other times in the game, and it's a 1k counter. And I do realize there's a 4-cost 5k that can do a top 3 like arrangement of your life cards, or not life of the top of your deck. I actually like this card better because of what happened in this very game. If I'm ever forced into the odd curve, typically I want to go second. But if I'm ever forced into the odd curve, no problem. Actually, I don't want to say I typically want to go second. This deck goes first just fine because I do have Sengoku, and now I have this 3-cost card. And that's what I was trying to say is because of this 3-cost card, I'm completely happy with going first if I have to. Especially if it's against like a Gecko Moria to get them off their curve. Like, sure, I'll go turn 1 Sengoku into turn 2 Edward Weevil into turn 3 whatever else. So, that's why I'm running this card. And you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Okay. And I also have a very nice finisher in my curve now at 7 Dawn there. You see it in my hand, the Doflamingo. That's a card I've been messing with lately in this deck, and it is pretty good. You'll see it come up quite a few times in today's games, I think. Okay, so he plays out the Usopp. That card is a potential threat, that's for sure. That is a potential threat there, guys. So right here, I play out Buckin, which allows me to cheat out the 4-cost Edward Weevil. I'm going to swing 8 into my opponent's face here, bounce back the Buckin, restand my Weevil, and now he has no way of just attacking into my cards on the board and getting free cards out of my hand and free attacks on my characters. But looking back, seeing Usopp on the board, I feel like I should have attacked in with Edward Weevil. I'm just saying, especially how aggressively, this guy is taking cards very aggressively, and that is not a great idea against any deck that is running blue, especially blue-green, Zoro, and Sanji. I keep saying blue-green. I think it's green-blue, technically, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Zonji here can literally play pudding. And spoiler warning, I play pudding. So I could punish him so hard. I could have punished him so hard last turn for that, but I just didn't have the pudding in my hand yet. Okay, so he plays out a Frankie. I'm like, wiping the sweat off my brow at that point, like, whew. Okay, good. He didn't actually get to use the Usopp to KO my Edward Weevil. But I'm not taking another chance at that. We're going 5 into face here. Going 5 more. I'm just going to start eating cards out of hand. He just gave me 2 Nico Robins, by the way. Not ideal. And now I'm going to bounce the Usopp back to his hand with the new 7-cost Doflamingo. A 7-cost character is that's an annoying number to deal with. They need to invest like 2 cards to take that out pretty much every single time, right? Unless some, unless they're running Stussy or something, and they still wouldn't be able to play it this turn because they're only on 8 Dawn. Okay, so he just buffed up his Frankie into a 9-cost character. So now his leader's effect is turned on because he has 1 Dawn attached and an 8-cost character on the board. That is a 6,000 power base leader now. So he'll be able to swing for 7k this turn, and he'll be 6k on defense. But that's okay. You know, that's not the end of the world for us. Now, that's unfortunate. That Sanji is so good in this deck, guys. If you have one way to increase your cost, this guy comes in as a 6-cost 6k that pops a 5 or less. Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful effect there. But I still have my Doflamingo, and he's pretty safe, right? Because he's a 7-cost card. That's what's really nice about him. I'm going to play out Buck in here, which is going to cheat out my Edward Weevil. Now I'm also going to flood the board with Jinbei and Gecko Moria, getting back cards from my trash. Let's see what I get back. Play out Gecko Moria, get a 2k counter, of course. And I should have done this. I did this in the wrong order. You know, that's the first and foremost. I want to say I did this in the wrong order, but that's okay. So I swing in for 7 with my Doflamingo because I need to swing in for 7 first to be able to stand him with the leader effect. Now I can swing in for 8 or 9 with him if I need to. I go 9 into Frankie. I don't like that play. I like 9 into life much better to put him like, because think about it. I have so much 2k counter power in hand. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I have 10,000 power and counter in hand. He's not getting one of my characters this turn unless he invests his entire turn into attacking both of my tapped characters. And if he has removal, well, he just has removal. I can't stop that. So it's like, I think I should have gone into his face for 9 or 8, whatever it was. No, I think it was 9. I think I should have just gone 9 into face instead of the Frankie, because that was just a 2k counter out of hand. And now he's got that character still. It's like I did nothing. I mean, I got a 2k counter out of hand. That's not nothing, but y'all know what I'm saying. Now, this guy way underestimated how much I was going to protect my board. 8 into 6, or 7 into 6, or what was, yeah. No, it was just a 7 into 6, because, hang on, did I miss it? Let me go back to, yeah, it was 7 into 6. And then it was 7 more into 6. I 2k count out of both. Sorry, guys. I'm, like, losing it right here. I don't know that wasn't... Oh, he gets the plus 2,000... I was so confused about Frankie, guys. Frankie gets the plus 2,000 power on the opponent's turn. Sorry about that. If he's 6 cost or more or something like that, I can't remember. But anyway, he does not respect my board. I got to go back again, guys. I just messed up everything there. So I untap with a board like this. My opponent has 3 cards in hand, and he has 2 life left. He is dead meat, right? Watch how this goes. Watch how aggressive this turn is right here. 7 into life. Again, I have to swing for 7 so that I can restand the character. I would have liked to have swung for 8 there, but you can't do it like that with the first attack that you want to restand. 8 into life. He takes it. Okay. If I had an Ezo right here, it would just be over, right? I didn't have an Ezo, and I don't think I play Ezo in this version. So stand up my Doflamingo. He still has a blocker, so I have to wait for that to go away. Okay, then I swing 10 into life here. Yeah, so once the blocker was down, it's like, okay, bud, now you're taking 10 to the face, and then I'll even save 1 dot open to go 6 more if that doesn't go through. I think it would have been smarter to just attack all of it on Doflamingo. Okay, good stuff there. Guys, with this deck, you have to respect the board. If you do not respect the board, it will just completely run you over. And that's one thing I do like about this leader as well. You have ways to flood the board, and now they have to try to respect it, and they might not even be able to. You know, it's not even a matter of like misplaying or anything like that. They might just not have the cards available to them at the time to deal with it. Okay, 2x speed. Playing against a Yamato here. Now, one thing I do have to probably adjust in the deck is I don't think I'm even running a single blocker. So, excuse me. Now, luckily, Yamato's kind of falling off as of EB01 and OP-07. Yamato's not a deck that a lot of people are playing currently, or like I said, going into EB01 and OP-07, and I guess currently too, at least where I am. Wait, what am I talking? It is EB01. Y'all know what I meant. Like before EB01 hit, like it wasn't really being played much. So right here, sorry guys, Sengoku, play out Buckin to cheat out the Edward Weevil, and I've got a lot of counter power in hand now to hopefully stop this next big attack. And that's how, I think this is like the smartest way to play Yamato. What he's doing here, just aggressive. It's like, hey, I'm a double attack leader. I want to get full advantage from that, and not to mention the activate main on Yamato. The way it gets its full value is when I'm at 3, is that when the opponent is at 3 or less life. So I give him 2, 4, 5, or excuse me, I had to give a bunch of cards there, guys. Did y'all see that? What was that? Hang on. It was like, okay, 2, 4, and then 1, 1. Yeah, that did not feel great, guys. That did not feel great to give him 6 cards to get out of that attack. But I do have a board, and he does not, right? So there is like a, you know, a give and take for this. Now, right here, again, I don't have any blocker. So I think what this guy should have done, I think what the Yamato player should have done here is just, you'll see next turn, I think he should have just done what he did this turn. Just go everything into my face, put me at 0 life, and force like a Hody Jones victory if he has it. You know, like we're just like, it basically forces me to outrace him, and that's hard to do when I'm at 0 life, right? And he's like, he still had 3 life this turn. And he does, you can tell he respects my attacks a little bit. He knows what my leader does. He just used a 200 million volts Amaru this early in the game to gain a life. Because he understands, like, wait a minute. I know what this leader does. And if he gets all these bodies on the board, he is just going to run me over. Like, but let me say this, though. So here we go. He played out Ohm. I think he should have swung for 9 into my life. Now, if I had the 2K, 2K, 1K, it is what it is. If you have it, you have it. But if not, if he swings for 9 at life here, I am in so much trouble, right? 9 at life here, I'm in trouble, or at least 8, because I can't even get out of an AK attack. Y'all see my hand. I actually could not have gotten out of an AK attack there, and then I'd probably lose this game. So in other words, if he had not played the Hiyori out and just went everything onto his leader, I'd probably lose this game. But he doesn't know it's in my hand. I did just get a 2K from my hand right there. He got 1 2K out of my hand from that 6K attack. And now I'm going to swing 5 into life, see what he gives me. Because I'm kind of like, oh no, what did he get from Hiyori? What is the card he got from Hiyori? Okay, I swing 5 again. Okay, I'm like, okay. Like, you set a card in your life as Hiyori, and now you're not trying to use whatever it is. I was so confused at this point. And watch this. He counters out of this one as well. With a 0 cost 3K. I'm like, man, what did he put there? So I bounce his card back. It's my only chance. And if he gets a Hody Jones, I just probably lose the game right here, to be honest. Now, again, my opponent doesn't know that. But if he goes Hody Jones, actually, well, he only has a 9 Dawn this turn. I would have been able to get out of a 7K attack. But still, I think you guys see what I'm saying. I'm in a very dangerous position here. Okay, he's loading up. He's got 10. He's going face. I can't get out of it. It is what it is. And now this comes down to I have to just beat him this turn, right? But that's kind of what this deck does, right? This deck is very good at just running the opponent over. And look at the card he set. He had an Onami. I'm very perplexed as to why he did not use it last turn to slow me down even further and save his hand. But who knows? Maybe he just, like I said, I do like when people respect the leader because, you know, sometimes it almost feels bad when you run someone over and they had no idea what you were about to do. Okay, right here, though, he's just done 13 into 5. He has 3 cards left. There's no way out of it. And he did have a Hody Jones in hand. So I had to win that turn. But if he had not had, or if he had used the Onami last turn to pop one of my 4-cost guys, specifically the Edward Weevil, right, because that's the big boy, that's the 6K attack, I still could have done swings with my Sengokus, but it slows me down a lot. So it's not like it was, I'm not even trying to say it's a misplay, it was just a weird decision. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Because I would have absolutely used that Onami as soon as I played out my Hiyori to pop one of those guys instead of having to use a card from hand. But maybe he did not realize how much damage was going to be coming across the board the following turn. Because, as you see, I got 6 Dawn on my, what's his name there, my Doflamingo. That could have been 2 more 5K attacks from my Sengokus and still a 7K attack with Doflamingo. So, you know, it really does come down to, it's hard to deal with. Okay, last game here, guys. Red-Purple Law. We've got 2x speed for us here. I do think this deck has a decent matchup against Red-Purple Law. I'm not saying it's like an anti-Red-Purple Law deck, but it's probably close to 50-50. As crazy as that might sound, guys, this deck might be close to a 50-50 matchup against Red-Purple Law. Because you'll see what happens this game. You just kind of flood the board, and they can only remove 1 character at a time, as long as you're not, you know, doing anything stupid and, like, you know, leaving all your characters tapped out for them to just take out. I mean, unless you have to, you know, everything's situational, obviously. But you guys know what I'm saying. You can just fill the whole board out just like they do, but you're going to attack so many more times than they can because of your leader effect. Okay, so they're going to swing out for 5 here. I want to keep my life pretty high this early in the game. There's no reason to go down in life against Red-Purple Law. That's when they can really punish you by, you know, threatening lethal. Okay, so Sengoku, search up that Doflamingo, because if I can plant that Doflamingo next turn, excuse me, if I can plant that Doflamingo next turn, this guy is in a world of trouble, right? This guy is in a whole lot of trouble. All right, so right here, he has 6 cards in hand. I'm going to swing in for 5 and see what he gives me. If he takes this, he's getting puddinged. Yep. So right here, play pudding. You just lost 2 cards of advantage. I'm going to swing in for 6. I'm going to pull back the pudding as a 1K counter now. Restand my Edward Weevil. And now I'm going to, you know, I think I should have attacked again there personally. But, you know, it really is hard to say. Like, you want to force them to remove your cards and to use cards like that from their hand, like Ace, to drop the cost of my character, establish a big body, and do their effects that way, go back and Dawn. But that's not a problem, right? Because we saw what I just drew. I just drew a 7-cost Doflamingo. He knows that, but it might not matter. That might have been the only cost reduction he had. So now this turn, it's like, well, okay, I guess we got a pretty easy turn lined up here. I do have a lot of options, though. I will say that. I could have gone Edward Weevil. I could have done Buckin to put out Edward Weevil and gone Jinbei to play out Crocodile. That's a 2K counter, which is risky, but still, I could have filled up the board that way if I wanted to. But instead, it's like, let me go 6 into Ain here, see what he gives me. Nothing. Did not protect it, so then I bounce his Ace back to hand. Hey, sure, replay your Ace if you want to, right? That's going to be your whole turn. You're going to lose an entire turn's worth of aggression, and I'll be good from there. I go down to 2 life. He plays out a Captain Kid. Bottom decks one of my Sengokus. I don't really care too much about that. And he plays out a Chopper. So I'm like, wow. Okay, that was a pretty good turn there. And he swings for 9. I'm down to 1 life. Now we're in like a scary situation. If he has 1 Kid and Killer combo, I'm probably, you know, done for. Because like I said, one thing I do want to add to this deck going forward is I need some blockers. I do need some blockers in here. Okay. Like the 3-cost Doflamingo that I'm not running for some reason. I think I forgot to try, or I forgot to run it in this deck when I was putting it together. Okay, so swing 7 at life, bounce back Buckin, restand Doflamingo. That combo there is nice, guys. That Doflamingo combo is very, very nice. Okay, he takes it. Here comes 7 more, and I've still got 6 Dawn left, guys. I still have 6 Dawn left, and I'm swinging it for 7. What's he going to do? Okay, right here, I've decided, okay, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11,000 power encounter in my hand. So we're actually just going to go all in with Sengoku here and force him to use his blockers. And he did. He used the blockers very wisely there. He saved his Shiraya for the very end to get out of that attack. He has 4 potential attacks this turn with, I think, what is that, 7 Dawn available. And I only have 1 life left and no blocker. Now, I still think he should have gone for the board here first. Since he has blockers he can fall back on, I think, you know, okay, and what happened there? I took the last life card. So I'm baiting him to attack into me and tap down his blockers. He does bottom deck my Edward Weevil. That's very solid. Okay. But you have to get rid of... Here's his problem. He has to get rid of my Doflamingo too. You know what I mean? Or else I'm coming in for 3 massive attacks next turn. Because I could go, you know, 7 with Doflamingo, 12 with my leader, and then like another 12 with Doflamingo, or something along those lines. Maybe it's like 10 and 11 or something like that. So he has to be very careful here. He plays out the Shiraya. That's the right call. I swing for 7. And now would be his time to like block with Kid right there and do a 2K counter. When he doesn't do a 2K counter, that is perplexing to me. It means, oh, wait, he doesn't have a 2K counter, right? That's what's going through my head right now. So it's like, okay, well, in that case, I'm going to swing for 7, restand my Doflamingo. He counters out with to save Shiraya there. I don't know if that was the right call or not, because now I'm going to attack with Sengoku again for 7, and now it's game over, right? You'll see what happens here. He told me he didn't have a 2K counter, right? Like that is what happened there. And the only, well, excuse me, he had, like, look how he got out of the Shiraya attack. I'm sorry, guys. Let me get back a little bit. Right here. So when I attack in, make sure it's playing. There we go. So I'm swinging 7. Excuse me. He only had to do a 1K counter there. And I know he doesn't have a 2K counter, right? Like, he's telegraphed that to me by not saving that original Eustace Kid. There was no reason to let that Eustace Kid go otherwise. So it's like, okay, in that case, I'm just going to smash in because... Instead of him saving the Eustace Kid, let me pause it. So if he had saved the Eustace Kid with a 2K counter, that kind of tells me, like, okay, he probably has more counter power in hand. And look at that. He had a 2K counter. That's where I'm so confused. Like, why let the Shiraya live and not the Eustace Kid? I'm not sure. Or even just don't get greedy at all. Maybe that's the other way to approach this, is just let every one of your blockers get KO'd, and then you'll have a 2K, 1K in hand. He had the Penguin and the Eustace Captain Kid in hand. You can get out of a 7K attack. I don't know. It's hard to say. And who knows? Maybe there was no like perfect answer there. But that would have ended up winning him the game, I think, if he could have gotten out of this one turn. If he survives this one turn, I don't think I survive the next turn, even with all my counter power in hand. You guys know what y'all think in the comment section below. Okay, so here's the deck list, guys. Like I said, today's going to be a pretty short video. Some immediate revisions I would make to the deck is I probably would just replace this Edward Weevil, or maybe go down like a Buckin. Maybe go down like 1 or 2 Buckins, and then... and I am running 4 puddings. I could go down pudding if I put in the, what I was going to say is the, what's his name? The Doflamingo, the 3 cost. This guy right here. I don't know what went through my head. I just totally didn't see the, you know, whatever the case is, I just forgot to add this card to the list. And that is not because I was trying to exclude it. I just forgot when I was building the deck because I threw it together pretty quickly. And I think if I were to adjust this list, I think I'd go down 1 Pudding, 1 Edward Weevil, the 3 cost, and 2 Buckin. I would take those 3 cards out and put in the Doflamingo in their place. That is I think that's the only revision I'd make to it, just to get that blocker in the deck. Another card that, like, I want to experiment with at some point, maybe even in the place of Doflamingo, the big Dofi, maybe put in Boa Hancock. Just as a way to, like, shut down an attack for the turn, you know, get a big body on the board, and maybe potentially bottom deck one of their 1-cost searchers or something. I think that would be pretty good. Oh, let me move my face. Sorry, guys. This card right here. Because, like, the thing is, yes, I realize it is an 8,000 power body, but that's okay. I could just restand other characters. But I will say that, too. I don't want to have too many situations of that, because I want to be able to restand any of my characters on the field. You know what I mean? I want to have that option to restand anything. And that's what makes this card so good. Just bounce your guy back to your hand. And now I've established a 7K body that is just going to bully the board for the rest of the game. This card was really nice in the deck, I have to say. And like I said, it's 7 Warlords of the Sea, so it's Sengoku can search it up. Jinbei was nice in here, but I didn't use his little, you know, interactions too much. Because I feel like the way this deck runs out is, like, you just want to play out these Edward Weevils and just keep getting card advantage and just fill the board out as best as you can while putting down targets like Buckin or Dracula Mihawk that you can return back with your Zonji leader effect. And this guy's a slash character, by the way. So you can Dracula Mihawk out Edward Weevil if you have, 2 or less characters on the board to use his on-play effect. But other than that, guys, the deck's been running pretty well. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. You guys tell me, how's it been running for y'all? Have you guys tried this deck out yet? I'm very curious to know how it's going for you guys, because I do think there's a lot of potential here. And I don't think this list is perfect. I don't think the lists that we checked out from the East are perfect either in my original video on this. Or I don't know if it was my original video, but like my super comprehensive guide. I don't think those lists are perfect either. Sorry, guys, I'm struggling. Still an idea to maybe run Boba Hancock, and since I am running the 7 Warlords of the Sea stuff, like, there is also, you know, it's a worthy consideration to go Perfume Femur. But, and remember this, guys, Perfume Femur in this deck, especially as like a 1 or 2 off tech card, triggers draw a card, we'll take that, that's fine. But offensively, think of it like this. If I have down it has to be a 5-cost character, so if I do have down like a Gecko Moria, a Jinbei, or an Edward Weevil, if you put on, where did it go? Perfume Femur. Okay, up to one of your 7 Warlords of the Sea type character leaders or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this turn, and then your opponent cannot activate blocker when the selected card attacks. That's for the whole turn. So, for example, you can't use it on Edward Weevil with your leader effect, because then he goes to 8,000 power, right? So that's not good. If he goes to 8,000 power, and the same thing with Doflamingo, he becomes 9,000 power. But something like, I mean, I don't know, maybe even Sengoku. Like, maybe you can even run it on, well, no, he's Navy, excuse me. But maybe something like Jinbei, Gecko Moria, or the 3-cost 5K Edward Weevil. If you get them to 7,000 power and they're unblockable, think about that. You can attack with the card, so 7K unblockable, they can't block it. Now attack for 7 with your leader or 6, whatever, to restand the Edward Weevil, or whichever card you chose, and then put all the rest of your Dawn on them for the final attack. You know what I mean? That's one possibility in the deck. Like, that's one, you know, extra level of value you can get from a card like Perfume Femur to like close out games against decks that go super wide, like Perona, for example. Perona goes very wide on the board with a lot of blockers. Like they might have a Borsalino, a Rebecca, a Sabo, or something like that, where it's very hard to punch through those final attacks, even with multiple attacks. It makes it very difficult. And then if they play out like a Gecko Moria next turn, or like a Rebecca, it's like, okay, Rebecca, get back Sabo, replay Sabo, nothing can be KO'd, and now I've got 2 blockers. Yeah, it becomes a real headache. So that is something we probably should consider in the future for the deck, is the Perfume Femur. So yeah, the top 4. So right away, let me just show you what I would do to change this. Is I would go like this, whereas boom, that's the immediate first, revision I would do to the deck. And if you want to keep some of these cards in, you can drop down the Doflamingos if you don't like those. But that's what I would do at first, because I do like Doflamingo later in the game to keep stuff locked down, and now you have a huge body to just start eating up cards on the board with or start forcing blocks with. So this card is still nice, and it's searchable by Sengoku. Very happy with this card. Excuse me. And I am running 4, 8, 12, 16 2K counters, so you can go down a few 2K counters, for example, to add something like this, Boa Hancock. This is pretty solid as well, right? Yes, like we were saying, it is too big to restand with your Zoro and Sanji, unfortunately. But it's still an incredible card. You're shutting down one of their attacks for the turn where they can't start bullying your board, and then you're also, potentially getting rid of one of their little guys on the field. And then attach 1 Dawn to her. She's swinging for 9. This is still a very solid card. So yeah, Doflamingo I just added. This card is worth consideration as well. Maybe drop down 2 2K counters to add 2 of these, because I've mentioned this in previous videos. This card is not a once per turn effect. That Dawn ×1 when attacking, if you have 5 or less cards in hand, each time you do it, you can draw 2 cards for the turn with that, with this leader if you stand her up. So it's like swing 7, draw a card, stand her up with your leader, swing 7, draw a card. That is really nice. Or how's about just swing 7 to draw a card, restand her, and now she's a blocker that has draw a card on block. You know what I mean? Very, very solid card there. I haven't really messed around with like anything for Kuma. This is not really the direction I think the deck should go, but who knows? Maybe there is some argument for it. Maybe in the future we can even mess with like a Navy. Where's Sengoku at? Well, I can at least, there he is. Like maybe in the future, once we have a huge card pool to work with, I think there could be like a Navy and 7 Warlords of the Sea package, because if we add in like Navy searchable cards to get cards like Sengoku and cards like Kuma, because I think all the Pacifista stuff is also Navy. Let me see something real quick. Okay, there we go. So for the Navy stuff, let me do green too. There's a few green Navy cards. First of all, you'd be able to search up something like Rosinante. I totally forgot about that. X-Drake could add another dynamic to the game for KOing stuff, but the cards I was looking for more was like Tashigi to fill up the board with searchers. And with Tashigi, you could search up cards like Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger, Sentamaru, and have a small Pacifista engine, which is Navy as well, which then you could add in Kuma, because he has double searchability, right? Any cards that like double over as searchers, for some reason I don't see, was Kuma not in there, or was he only 7 Warlords of the Sea? Okay, that's what it was. Sorry, guys. Let me, whoops. I forgot to take off the blue and green first before hitting search, and it like messes things up a little bit. Okay, so Kuma only searches up Pacifista stuff that is 7 Warlords of the Sea, isn't it? It's probably like that. Yeah, because, I'm sorry, this is 7 Warlords of the Sea Revolutionary Army, and that's probably what the other Kuma is as well. I gotta just search up like this now, guys. I'm sorry. This thing's probably gonna completely lag out. My apologies. All right, there it is. Sorry. Okay, so he is 7 Warlords of the Sea in Revolutionary Army. So it wouldn't work out quite as well as I would like, because there's not a lot of spillover. But there is still some potential there with the Navy and Warlord stuff in the future. And maybe even Land of Wano is what I might try to mess with next, going forward, is a Land of Wano / 7 Warlords of the Sea package for OP-07. Because that new one cost Otama, that could be interesting. I'll keep you guys updated on that. That's for the future. Right, I done gone over what I thought this video was going to be, longer than I thought it would be. So let me go ahead and put up the patrons page, guys. Big shout out to everybody who supports this channel, whether you're just liking the videos, watching them, subscribing, sharing, commenting. I appreciate all of it, guys. Thank y'all so much. And of course, big shout out to my patrons who help me out in that way. You guys are awesome. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace.